Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel, and today we're gonna look at the World Championships in Rwanda once more. This is the first ever time that the World Championships is held in Africa, and with the road race being the crowning event of this World Championships, we'll see who will be the biggest contenders in terms of winning that rainbow jersey for another year. There's been plenty of names taking great victories in the past with Remco Evenepoel, Mathieu van der Poel and Tadej Pogacar, but who will add their name to that list of riders? So in today's video, we're going to look at 5 of the best riders that we think could be in the mix for that jersey. Before we start, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and why not check out the video we did of Isaac Del Toro and the Cycling Dane channel. First on the list is the double Olympic mountain bike champion and newly crowned podium finisher in the Vuelta a España, and that is of course Tom Pidcock, who has had a great season with his new Q36.5 team, winning his first ever stage race at the Ayula Tour and taking a stage win at the Vuelta Andalusia, where he was in the mix and even finished on the final podium. Strade Bianche is another race he did well in this year, not winning the victory but coming very close to Tadej Pogacar, finishing second, and he's of course also showed his form in the various different mountain bike races he's been part of. Pidcock has a plethora of rainbow jerseys in his wardrobe, being a world champion already in the mountain bike event, mountain bike and cyclocross as well. He's been a junior world time trial champion in Norway, but is still missing that elusive world title on the road. His best result at the World Road Championships was in 2021, finishing 6th, but GB might have other options in this road race as well, bringing Oscar Onley here and Joe Blackmore, who has already tasted success in Rwanda, winning the Tour du Rwanda in the past. But with Pidcock's form and punchiness, this course maybe could suit him, and with the Vuelta a España legs being strong, potentially he could be a dark horse for the top 5 or even a podium. Next on the list is not a rider. Here we put more a nation, and this is the story of experience meeting the future. The French team will arrive in Kigali with a deep squad, but the spotlight inevitably falls on Julien Alaphilippe and Paul Césax as the men who is most likely to carry the tricolour into the decisive moments of the race. Alaphilippe, now with Turo, may not dominate the way he once did, but he still remains a rider of grand occasions. His recent win at the GB Quebec was vintage Alaphilippe, an explosive late attack, perfectly timed, impossible to match. Even at the Tour de France, where his campaign was derailed by a heavy crash, he still showed flashes of fighting spirit with a podium finish on stage 15, where he had crashed already. He also has 2 rainbow jerseys hanging in his collection, and on a course as sharp and punishing as Kigali, few riders in the peloton know better how to survive and strike when the road tilts upwards. Alongside him stands Paul Césax, the prodigy in the making, who stormed into the World Tour at just 18 years old. His ride to 8th place overall at the Critérium du Dauphiné was the first sign of something special, but his triumph at the Tour de l'Avenir, which we covered on the Cycling Dane channel, is where he claimed both the prologue and the German classification, confirmed that he's France's next great hope. Césax is a rider who relishes in short, steep climbs and thrives in chaos of attacking racing, exactly the kind of profile needed for this Kigali course. These 2 French riders also have strong support from their teammates of Valentin Madouas and Valentin Panapantra. France really has depth to play multiple cards, and in the end, the weight of expectation will rest on the seasoned brilliance of Julien Philippe and the fearless hunger of Paul Césax, a pairing that perfectly balances past glory with promise of the future. Next on the list is the pride of Mexican cycling, that is Isaac Del Toro. This will also be his 3rd World Championships representing Mexico, but first time in the elite category, and he did a sterling effort in the time trial, finishing in top 5. 2025, other than that, has been a fantastic year for the Mexican. He announced himself as one of the sport's brightest stars. At the Giro d'Italia, he managed to wear the Maglia Rosa for several days and finished 2nd overall at the Giro d'Italia, and even went on to dominate the Tour of Austria with 3 stage victories and taking the overall. A month later, he was up there very strong in the Vuelta a Burgos, really showing himself up towards the front, and on the final stage sealing the overall despite not winning the stage win. This year he has also won victories in Milan, Torino early on, and added 4 Italian one-day races in September in a week time period, which was absolutely incredible. Del Toro already has a palmarès many veterans would envy. And of course, if you want to see more about Del Toro, check out a video about that. The Mexican's strong climbing legs, proven endurance in tough stage races, and the ability to handle repeated steep efforts makes the Kigali circuit's punchy climbs and attritional style of racing look tailor-made for a rider who thrives in both stage races and hilly classics. But the weakness could be his teammates, the Mexican national team, which is nothing compared to the other nations, but we could see him battle. But if it goes well, we could maybe see battle his own UAE team Emirates teammates for the win. Del Toro, in terms of the national team, won the Tour de l'Avenir for Mexico in 2023 and represented them in the 2024 World Championships in Zurich, finishing 6th in the road race and 12th in the under 23 time trial. So Del Toro certainly is interesting, and we hope he can do pretty well. Before we come to the top 2, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. But in terms of other riders, we have to give a mention to Binyam Gamay, the brightest star for African cycling, and maybe he will be able to do something here. He has showed glimpses of his own form in recent races, so maybe he will be up there. You'll certainly be very proud of this. He has good history with the Tour of Rwanda, so maybe one last hit, and could he maybe get a big result here. Mathias Skelmose Jensen as well, fresh from his second place at the Tour of Luxembourg, will be carrying the hopes of the Danish team, so we'll see if he can do something to maybe sneak onto the podium. Richard Carapaz as well will be here, and Australia is very strong with Jay Vine very high spirited after his second place in the time trial, so we'll see what they can do. Juan Ayuso as well might be a bit of a wild card with no allegiances to UAE Team Emirates anymore, so who knows what he will be doing in this race. Now coming to second place on the list, and that is of course Remco Evenepoel, the newly crowned 3-time world time trial champion, who will also have the weight of a nation and the aura of a rider who has already conquered the world once before. At 22 years old, he claimed the road race Raidbone jersey in Wollonga, launching a trademark long-range attack that left the peloton stunned and secured Belgium's first world title in a decade. 2 years later in Zurich, he was still right in the fight, finishing 5th, very disgruntled with the final result as there was a bit of disharmony in the group. And now in 2025, Evenepoel's season has been full of resilience and resurgence after a crash in the winter months, which left him with broken ribs and a fractured shoulder and a hand, and even lung problems. Many wondered how quickly he could return. The answer came in April when he outsprinted Wout van Aert to win the Brabantse Pijl, a victory that felt symbolic, as much about defiance as form. By June, he was back at his finest, smashing the Belgian National Time Trial Championships and then dominating the time trial in the Tour de France, where he beat Tadej Pogacar by 16 seconds over 34 kilometers. But what makes him so dangerous in Kigali is not just his power, a course of sharp climbs, endless accelerations, and brutal attrition. He has the endurance to wear down rivals and explosiveness to go clear when it matters, and his form really does look like it's at the right place and will be leading a very strong Belgian team that includes the likes of Benoot, Kampenaerts, Hermans, Van Wilde and Kian Uiterbroeks for support. So Remco Evenepoel, if he can get the right move, could potentially take a win in an extraordinary way and become the first ever rider to win the double of the road race and the time trial in the same world championships in the elite. We've never seen that before, but we have seen Remco Evenepoel do that in not only the Olympics last year, but also in the Junior World Time Trial Championships in Innsbruck in 2018. Can he do it again? The odds are definitely against him, but he is a man on form. Now coming to the number 1, and that is of course the number 1 of the World Tour this year, and that is none other than Tadej Pogacar, who is absolutely incredible and the reigning world champion from winning in Zurich with that 100-kilometer attack. In 2025, he has looked basically invincible in the opening part of the season, winning both the UAE Tour and Strade Bianche, and at Milan San Remo he was very close to taking the victory there again, only being outsprinted by Mathieu van der Poel and Filippo Ganna. He won the Tour of Flanders in an emphatic fashion, and at Paris-Roubaix he was up there in the elite selection with Mathieu van der Poel, but for a crash potentially could have challenged him in the velodrome. In the Ardennes Classics, he had a very good form, winning Flèche Wallonne where he kicked towards the finish and winning convincingly, and in Liège-Bastogne-Liège an equally dominant fashion, taking the win there. And at the Dauphiné he was strong as ever, destroying all his rivals, taking the stage win on stage 1, stage 6 and stage 7, taking up to 99 wins overall. And at the Tour de France he was absolutely electric, winning a multitude of stages, taking the win overall and showing his absolute dominance. And since then taking a bit of a break, but popping up at the Canadian Classic races where he finished 29th and also finished 2nd with his teammate Brendan Minotti taking the win. So a very incredible finish to the year. In terms of the World Championships, he has been medaling before. He medaled in 2023 in Glasgow with a 3rd place, but he also won, as we said, in Zurich. The course really does look like it fits him. He's on form to some extent. His time trial might have been a bridge too far for him. Who knows? But he'll certainly look to avenge the defeat Remco Evenepoel inflicted on him by catching him as well. So he'll be out for revenge. Tadej Pogacar, as we know, when on form, is absolutely electric. And as we know, he also has Primož Roglič by his side as well for support. So that will be very, very interesting. And if you haven't already, why not check out the video of last year on the Cycling Day in Action channel where I tried to follow Tadej Pogacar on his warm-up for the World Championships. It didn't go well. But with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, as always, let us know down below what you think, who will be finishing on the top of this World Championship road race. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you around.